I'm a chef, an entrepreneur. But my mind, if I have to look deep into my mind, I think I am a Renaissance man. Our small restaurants are kind of Renaissance atelier where we create culture, we develop knowledge, consciousness, sense of responsibility. This is who I am.
Massimo, one of the things we want to kick off with is we've all been playing around with an AI version of Reid so that Reid can replicate himself and do so much more. So we made a special video just for you. So just press play on that video and take a look.
Saluti Massimo, sono un tuo grande ammiratore. Nel tuo libro Non fidarti mai di uno chef italiano magro, dici: la tradizione non sta nel preservare le ceneri, ma nel passare la fiamma. Mentre guardiamo al futuro della cucina, come vedi i cuochi bilanciare la necessità di innovare, pur onorando ancora il loro patrimonio culinario?
So what did I say?
I was about to say, I have no idea what you said.
You said exactly what I always say. Evolving tradition. It's a very important exercise because it's about looking at the past. And don't forget about the past, but looking at the past, but in a critic way, not in a nostalgic one, not the ashes, but the flame. And looking at the past in a critic way, you can split and get the best from the past into the future. What I was talking yesterday night about the crunchy part of the lasagna. I don't care about eating a big slice of lasagna. I care about eating emotions. So that's how you evolve cuisine, how you recreate a new tradition, evolve tradition, because otherwise they're going to be dusty. And you don't want that. You want the future. Because in my mind, there's always future. I'm born like that. So in my future, there will be always future. But future is not a place. Future is a state of mind. So it's your mind that is driving you, guiding you into the future.
Yep.
This is what we were talking about.
Yes.
So how was Reid's Italian?
It was perfect. Amazing.
It's one of the things that we want to kind of show is that through technology, we can actually become more human. And so, for example, obviously I speak like no Italian, ciao bene, like almost no Italian.
Yeah.
But like through this, you can actually create more human connection. It's one of the things I love about your work. I mean, as part of what we first learned at Casa Luigia last night here in San Francisco at the Refettorio, is the food and the experience is part of the human connection. So how do you kind of think about like what that creation is and that the interface point between the technology of what you're inventing and that human connection?
I keep saying to my team, to every guest that come from all over the world to Osteria Francescana, that you don't come to eat good food, you come to eat emotions, okay? So I grew up in a very large family with, the culture of food deeply into our DNA. I keep saying that my muscles are made by Parmigiano Reggiano, and in my vein, there's a lot of balsamic vinegar. Okay, I drank too much Lambrusco, and so the bubbling, they make me a little bit cuckoo. But it's okay. I love it. And so I'm staying up there. But what I want is like all our amazing guests, they want to share joy and happiness with us. They walk into Osteria Francescana in Casa Maria Luigia and they experience who I am. They eat the terroir. If you ask me what we are doing every day, I would say I compress into edible bites my passion. Food, art, music, poetry, sitting on centuries of history, because my cooking is deeply Italian, but everything is filtered by a contemporary mind. If you're not contemporary and you're nostalgic, everything you do is gonna disappear, because It's like step by step, from one passing to another, it disappears. Think about technology, okay? I'm thinking now about technology and connecting. Artificial intelligence, how can help us? There is an incredible company in Modena called Ital Pizza. They're making pizza, okay? Making pizza, it's a very complex exercise, especially for the yeast, for the dough, etc. But if you have a machine with with a cold approach to everything you do, getting the perfect tomato with the perfect part of extra virgin olive oil, oregano, etc. You have the perfect mozzarella, the dough with the right temperature, the right things. You can make a pizza that is the same in Modena or in Czech Republic, and is cooked at the same perfection temperature to get and replicate the perfect Napoletan pizza, avvampata. Very high temperature oven. This is the way you can use technology. Then the chef can focus on different things. So there's no human mistakes in every day, because the machine are taking off those mistakes. The product is perfectly set, and the chef is thinking about the new recipe, new things to and not get lost into correcting all the mistakes of the human being. This is what
Well, and one of the things that then allows the chef to do is the oops, I dropped the lemon tart.
Pi, could you explain?
Oops, I dropped the lemon tart. A dish that's not just delicious, but has a fascinating story behind it. It all started when the pastry chef Kondo Takahiko was plating a perfectly crafted lemon tart at Massimo Bottura's world-renowned restaurant, Osteria Francescana. But then disaster struck. He accidentally dropped the tart. Instead of getting angry, Bottura saw beauty in the chaos and told Takahiko to carefully collect the fallen pieces. With some added flourishes, a new dish was born, one that celebrated imperfection and the unexpected. And thus, Oops, I Dropped the Lemon Tart was created, becoming a signature dish at Osteria Francescana and a testament to turning a culinary disaster into a delicious work of art.
Because the AI is probably not going to do that.
That's exactly what the chef has to do. Recreate, and correct or ride that kind of mistakes. Make the mistakes is an imperfect way and approach, especially in a 3 Michelin star restaurant. It's the best restaurant in the world. Yeah, of course, I'm breaking tartelette, but it's a intellectual exercise. It's something that in your everyday life, full of poetry and an obligation. If the poetry disappear because the obligation are completely cancel the poetry, you're gonna get lost into the everyday life, and you'll never ever could imagine to create a broken lemon tart and serve a broken lemon tart in a 3 Michelin star, because you think in a different direction. But if everyone look at left and the imperfection, I look right and I get the imperfection as an opportunity to create something new.
I mean, the thing that I love is when I think of fine dining, I think of stay in your own no joy, no smiling, do your own thing. And when you talk about emotions, I mean, you said the crunchy part of the lasagna, oops, I dropped the lemon tart. There's so much joy and so much innovation. And last night we were lucky enough to be at your refectorio here in San Francisco. And when you think of a soup kitchen, you don't usually think of joy, you don't think of innovation, but we were at a fancy restaurant. It was so beautiful. People can come in. So how do you think of the emotion of joy and innovation? Because you're changing things on its head. This is not how 3 Michelin stars used to go in the past. And I love that new way of thinking.
This is a perfect observation. We work about this, and we were reflecting about this since 10 years. And what we have understood, and I was saying yesterday, everybody talks about the chef, but service is 50% of the result of the evening. Did you notice how great the service were? Always perfectly in time, very respectful, always smiling. This is the way. In Osteria Francescana, as in all our restaurants, service is part of the whole project, the development project, and because service is communication. They have to know everything that is happening in the kitchen, and that's why I want them in a creative process, involved in a creative process. Because they have to learn, using the mental palette, how to mix things, getting the perfect mixture or the perfect smile, understand the psychology of this customer or the other customer, what they need, and what they don't. But the most important thing is my food is the 3 Michelin star and goes into your under your skin, and because a good meal is just a good meal. Next good meal, you're going to forget about my good meal. But if I can transfer emotion in my food, it's going to stay with you forever. That's the difference. That's the difference. And a team is a team. I keep saying to everyone, and I wrote a very nice message to all the guests that come to Osteria or to Cavallino or Gatto Verde. By myself, I'm Massimo Bottura. With my team, we are Osteria Francescana. It's a teamwork. If you don't understand that, you don't understand the essence of restaurant. Restaurant from the word reficere, to restore. Restore the soul of the guests. They travel to come in your place. So this is the essence of the restaurant.
So thinking about restoring souls, one of the things that I loved about the lunch we had, Casa Luigi, was the blend from poetry to artwork to music into the food. So talk a little bit about how those kind of combinations, those inspirations, those ways of creating and thinking.
When I say that I compress my passion into edible bites, passion are passion. And, I grew up in a family where my mom, she was listening to opera, and she was teaching us how to listen the adagio. The adagio is the most important one, because from the adagio, you understand everything, But if you can't listen to the adagio, very mild touch, you cannot listen to the whole opera. My brother, they were crazy about this or that, and the older one was like Beatles, the other was Rolling Stones, and they were fighting, The third one was into blues and country. I don't know why, don't ask me why, but, And from blues to jazz, the step is very short. So to me, I'm like really into that kind of music. And jazz, it's all about, emotion. Through passion, you transfer emotions. And at the end is all that. And Casa Maria Luigia is the sum of everything. What me and Lara, we decide to do is like sharing. Sharing in a place called Casa, not pretentious, very humble. Casa, home. We want to treat everyone like home. Every single guest, they feel they can walk in, go in the music room, pick one of the 8,000 vinyls are there, and listen to these vinyls as in my home. The kitchen is always open, as my mom always had. My mom, she always had a chair for the unexpected guest. Because in a large family like ours, of course, the friend of the friend of the friend of the girlfriend, the new friend is coming. You know, the kitchen is there, open, with Parmigiano Reggiano and Lambrusco. First of all, I'm gonna snack, you know, not Parmigiano, not a cheese. I'm gonna snack Modena and drink a little bit of the unique Lambrusco that they're made for us. So this is the way. Casa is home, and we want to share this kind of experience. And in the experience, art is a big part. Because since we met in New York, me and Lara, I was like extremely skeptic about, contemporary art. To me, art was over after Duchamp. And, and she said, I'm not sure it's like that. So just look at the things deeper. Try to understand the message behind the scene, the message that the artist wants to share. And from there, we found a way to create something, to share a passion that keep us together and help us to evolve. And that's how we start looking at art in a totally different way. And we start, surrounded ourselves, our kids with art.
We have two incredible books on the table, and I want to talk about both of them. So first, you're holding up Reid's book, Impromptu, that he wrote with GPT-4, but it is a special copy because at the end, we have some customization just for you. So tell me about when you opened the book, you came to the end, you saw the pictures of you created by AI. Would love to hear how you felt about it.
First of all, when we met in Modena, we started talking about the artificial intelligence and how he recreate and how he was writing this book and the dialogue and, a friend of his was coming in and we were like, but did you try this? Did you try that? I have a kitchen and I'm dialoguing with the kitchen. I was like, whoa, what's going on? These guys, they're blew my mind. I always, the only way for me to develop things is through my mental palette, no? But the dialogue with artificial intelligence is about putting kiwi close to oysters, and it's not something familiar for me, but it's something interesting to understand, One of the key points for me to evolve and create future, it's about having doubt, not having something, I know everything. No, I don't. I have doubt. So I walk into the kitchen with doubt and I have to give answer to this doubt.
Massimo, we actually have one more AI surprise. So you were talking about the future. That's what you're building. You're thinking about the future. So we actually asked Pi, which is a personal intelligence. It's a chat bot created by Reid's company,
Pi.
Inflection. Exactly. And so we asked Pi, we said, what do you think a restaurant could look like 50 years from now? And what is your vision of the future of communal eating? So I'm going to pull up. And so we didn't script this. We didn't say anything. We just asked Pi what this would be.
In 50 years, restaurants could be quite different from what we're used to now. Imagine fully automated restaurants where robots and AI handle the entire process, from order taking to food preparation and delivery. Immersive dining experiences could become the norm with VR and AR technologies, transporting diners to exotic locations while they enjoy their meals. Personalized menus might become standard, with AI and data allowing restaurants to tailor dishes to individual preferences, dietary restrictions, and even current moods. 3D printed meals could become commonplace, creating customized dishes that are visually stunning, nutritious, and delicious. Despite all these technological advancements, some aspects of dining out might remain the same, like the importance of human interaction and, of course, delicious food.
As I said before, in large-scale places, to control the quality, robots can really help because they're cold, they know exactly what to do, they not make mistake, like the human mistakes, okay? But a chef can manage the irrational. A robot, not. So, the moment in my restaurant in Japan, imagine 20 robots. It's like a fake image, 20 robots, like 20 Japanese chefs in the kitchen. They're like incredibly perfect on everything. Slice the fish, boneless, cooking, and that. They never make a mistake. But who is the chef who was managing that? People thought I was crazy when I pick a Napolitan guy. And I match a Napolitan guy with 20 Japanese. Because the Napolitan guy is incredibly constantly in the cloud with his head and thinking about crazy things. But he understands when I talk. I'm giving you an example and he can manage the irrational of things. And the Japanese, the reaction, it's a great reaction because they understand they have a chef that can really manage that kind of stuff. Antonio is making this classic pasta and tomato. You think pasta and tomato, everybody can make it. No, totally wrong. You cannot make that kind of pasta and tomato. So Antonio is looking for the best tomatoes in Japan. There are 7 tomatoes. They make the perfect tomato together. One is more ripe, one is like more acidic, one is extremely sweet, one is like bitter, okay? And you put together the 7 tomatoes. And he was serving the pasta and tomato in the middle of the tasting menu because, a couple of rigatoni is exactly as his mom was doing, but with the best 7 tomatoes from Japan. I went there. I taste the pasta and tomato. I said, Antonio, this is not pasta and tomato. This is a dessert. Because these tomatoes are so incredible, and this pasta is so incredible, that is not a pasta and tomato. This is a dessert. So if you add a little bit of, vegetal, but not to show anything. So you get into the rigatone with a kind of extraction of basil. And, you finish everything with a little touch of spiciness, but not aggressive like south of Italy, but very round as Japanese style. This is going to be the perfect dessert. Antonio, that is, the Japanese, they're looking at me like, what the hell is he talking about? Serving pasta and tomato as a dessert.
Sure.
Antonio is a Napolitan guy. And immediately got my idea. And he put immediately pasta and tomato as the finishing taste for the tasting menu. Plate of the year. He got the prize, plate of the year. Pasta and tomato as a dessert. Dessert of the year.
One of the things that I want to make sure that you talk about is food for soul. Obviously, you have this enormous passion for food, for creativity, for music, but also for giving back and figuring out how you can do this all differently. So tell us sort of the genesis and what Food for Soul has become.
Thanks for the question, because Food for Soul probably is the most important project I ever did in my life. We ever did in my life, because we are the revolution, Joseph Beuys. So it was 2014, and at the Universal Exposition in Milan, all the delegation of the governments, they were coming to Modena and try to involve me in many different ways. But they never asked me what I was thinking about Feed the Planet. I was talking with Carlin Petrini from Slow Food Movement, and he was telling me about these incredible, shocking numbers. We were 7.5 million people on Earth, and we were producing food for 12 billion people. 860 million people, they didn't have anything to eat. And we were wasting 33% of what we were producing. More than that, this is insane. But also more than that, there's also that we use water, electricity, human capital to produce the food, and then 1/3 of what we produce goes to waste, and we burn it and become one of the 3 most crazy causes of climate change. No, this is not possible. So I said to myself, I'm going to make my own pavilion, but not in the Universal Exposition. Because at that time, now the mayor of Milan, Sindaco Sala, the mayor, it was the responsible for the Universal Exposition. And they said, come, and we're going to give you space. No, because if you go into the Universal Exposition, you get lost into this big supermarket. So I finally found a dialogue, open a dialogue with the Archbishop Scola that, he invited me, and we had a very good talk, and I explained the project. In my mind, I had to rebuild Miracle in Milan from the Verismo Italiano and created a refettorio, like this soup kitchen, under the train station. But he said, come back in 1 week, because I want to thank you for your energy, for your passion. But I need to confront with Rome. So Pope Francis, 1 week later, said, we don't want you to bring this light into the center of the city, but we found a beautiful space, an old abandoned theater, in the periphery, in the most neglected neighbor in Milan, Quartiere Greco. So what we did, we start involving creator of beauty, artists, designer, architects, and chefs, to rebuild this old theater, abandoned theater, full of dust and rusty things. And we create an amazing place full of beauty to share with all our guests. Who were our guests? The most vulnerable, fragile souls of the society. So, what we start doing, we start involving all the chefs and use what we knew better, the power of hospitality, with the simple word. Buongiorno, benvenuti, welcome, come in, we take care of you. So we were sitting the guest, because I'm using the past, but still going on in the refettorio in Milan is one of the most beautiful places in Milan. And around the table and share a meal, a beautiful meal made with love, because cooking is an act of love, from surplus food. Is wrong to say food waste. It's surplus food because we produce food that we don't use it. So I get that food and I transform into amazing meal for people in need. At this point, we start this journey, and it was incredible. The reaction of the people, the delegation, everyone was coming. But we thought, after the Universal Exposition, imagine every day we were unloading the truck and transform 150 kilos of black cod from Japan pavilion, or like 80 incredible poule de brasse from the French pavilion. Otherwise would be wasted, into amazing meal for kids at lunchtime or people in need at dinner time, thanks to the most amazing chef in the world. Unbelievable. So after that was like shocking, because we were the inspiration for France and Italy to pass the law against food waste. It was an incredible big deal. And we start with this. But we thought after the Universal Exposition that, the whole project was like, okay, is for our heritage for the city of Milan. But the mayor of Rio de Janeiro connect with us and a couple of other journalists and David Beckham, the founder of Gastromotiva, and he said, we want the same project in Rio de Janeiro for the Olympics. So our answer was, why not? And let's do it. Let's make it. I don't know. Was so much joy and happiness that we breathe and we chew during those 6 months that, I said, okay, let's do it. Let's do it. And we did it. And from there till now we have 12 plus 1, 13 refectorio, because the Lima one is under reconstruction because there's an evolution, constantly evolution. And we rescue more than 1,000 kilos, tonnellate, 10,000 kilos of food surplus, transform into millions of meal, involving 110,000 volunteers as chefs from all over the world. Our refectorio are everywhere, from Sydney to Geneva, from Naples to San Francisco, New York, Lima, Rio, Merida, Mexico, everywhere. So this is Food for Soul, and it's a beautiful project that has as focus, I call it cultural project, because our focus is through beauty, using beauty to fight food waste and social isolation. And this is a very, very, very important project.
You and Laura published a book, Slow Food, Fast Cars.
Yes.
So what's the hope in terms of the offering for how people to experience the book and to think about it? Should they be having the crispy end of the lasagna while they're reading it?
No. First of all, the book, I said, Lara, this book doesn't need any picture, because when you read the story that you wrote, it's just a book of short stories that they crack me up. They're so beautiful, and I've seen her in the past 3 years keep writing, back to write. And every emotion, every event, every magic moment or simple moment goes into her mind, filtered by everything she thinks, and become a short story. And I love it. And so this is a book about short stories. Then it's a book about Casa Maria Luigia. And Casa Maria Luigia is the perfect example of what it is Emilia and the countryside of Emilia-Romagna. This is a very is a little story. I was shooting a promo with David Beckham, and we were shooting for Maserati. And at one point we had a stop. We were sitting, lying on the bench close to the Roseto from the Edith Piaf Rose, and was July. At one point there was like this oak that was like, in the middle of the field, and it was hunting, and we were there. At one point, David, he looked at me and he said, Massimo. I said, yeah, what? I think this is paradise. Because there was no one whisper. Just, little bird that was coming. And I said, come on, David. It's the countryside, it's Modena, I got lost into the everyday, into my place without losing the poetry of everything. And he said, are you kidding me? Look at the field, all gold. Look at the roses, like red on gold. Look at the oak, and no sound, just us. And we were like, I'm ready, I can think about everything, because there's no sound, the sound of silence, I wrote something about that, I was like, wow, this is David Beckham, that he can live everywhere And he said, I imagine paradise, the countryside of Emilia. So this book, it's about that. It's about poetry, it's about things, it's about connection.
One of the things that was really amazing about the first meal, the community, the round table that I experienced with you was also that part of your work, Laura's work, the team's work, is not just about us at the table, but about the next generation, about children. Tell us a little bit about that.
That's one of my biggest challenge and dream. I'm like, I treat everyone that works for me and the work at the refettorio as part of the family. That's why we call Francescana family. We share ideas, dream, we share mistakes, trying to learn by our mistakes and communicate them one very important things, culture. Culture is the future. The most important ingredients for a chef of the future, for the waiter of the future, for everyone, every human being is culture. If you have culture, you can build a better future. And I try to involve as many people as I can to learn how to shape his own future. Antonio Iacovello in Tokyo or Mattia in Los Angeles, they're not someone they are taking care of the Osteria Gucci in Tokyo and Los Angeles, but they are human beings, and it's their responsibility to create something very special there. I'm behind there. I'm protecting them. I'm teaching them. I'm the guy. I'm guiding them. But it's their responsibility. We have an exercise that is called Who Are You? In all our restaurants that we share with all the restaurants in the world. That is called Who Are You? And you know what we do? All our restaurants are certified zero waste. Why? For one simple reason, because we are entrepreneur. And with waste, we are losing money. And so what we do? We use all the scraps from our preparation with the most amazing ingredients in the world to give the opportunity to all the chefs, the stagiaire, the apprentice, one day, each one of them, to create something special, to share with us. Staff meal. Staff meal is so important because staff meal creates family. And each one of them, they can prepare something that talks about who they are and where they come from. I am Jose. I come from Ecuador. I'm practicing in Osteria Francescana. I'm using that suckling pig to explain to you who was my grandmother. This is the future. This is how to learn not to waste food, but to use everything and to cook with love, because cooking is really an act of love. And so what we want to do is that.
Is there a movie, song, or book that fills you with optimism?
Simon and Garfunkel, Sound of Silence.
I love it. I love it. All right, rapid fire number 2. Is there a question that you wish people asked you more often?
The politics. I would love to have more politics. They ask for help for good ideas.
Oh, all right. Massimo, can you leave us with a final thought on what you think is possible in the future if everything breaks humanity's way? So if everything breaks our way, what is possible in the next 15 years and what's the first step to get there?
I don't know. I'm like, I think about my vision for the future and the people I have close to me, and I'm listening, and I'm like, I just want to spend time close with people I love, and I can learn. Think about companies They're like, they believe in the future. They believe in a sustainable world. They believe in social gesture. They believe in keeping the flame of creativity always on and not let him go. And this is what I want. This is what I'm trying to do, because the time is very limited, and I'm gonna try to use that time for my best and communicate to as many people as I can, to have to shape a better future, especially for the kids, for the new generation.
Possible is produced by Wonder Media Network, hosted by Aria Finger and me, Reid Hoffman. Our showrunner is Sean Young. Possible is produced by Edie Allard, Sarah Schleid, and Paloma Moreno Jimenez. Jenny Kaplan is our executive producer and editor.
Special thanks to Katie Sanders, Surya Yalamanchili, Saida Sepieva, Ian Alice, Greg Beato, Ben Rellis, Sean McKenna and Pyramid Studios, Lara Gilmore, and the Little Monster Media Company.